Hello, welcome to IDT Talks. Azerbaijan decides to cease its engagement with and presence at base until the further notice. In the statement, it was highlighted that the organization is being used as a platform to target some member states. What next? More in my program now. Joining me is the Tural Ganjaliyev, member of Azerbaijani parliament. Welcome to IDT Talks.
It's my pleasure. Thank you very much for the invitation.
So, Mr. Ganjaliyev, how can you comment on such a decision of Azerbaijani delegation to cease its engagement with PACE, Parliamentary Assembly of the Council of Europe?
As you know, yesterday, the Parliamentary Assembly of the Council of Europe decided to suspend the credentials of the Azerbaijan delegation at the PACE. So this is a very negative development in our relations with the Parliamentary Assembly, and not waiting for the final result, Azerbaijan delegation decided to suspend its activities within the PACE, thus showing and demonstrating the political will of Azerbaijani parliament. Azerbaijani delegation acted as we were expecting to act, because during recent years and recently the Parliamentary Assembly of the Council of Europe acted very in a way of hypocrisy reigned supreme. And unfortunately, we have seen the double standards, the policy against Azerbaijan, and we have seen the campaign already launched in the Parliamentary Assembly, of course, with the help of some countries, and we can say the main role is being played by France and Germany. And if we look at the results of the vote against Azerbaijan, we will see who are behind of this campaign against Azerbaijan. So, but I think that our delegation, the statement of our delegation was very adequate and according to the norms and principles of international law. If Parliamentary Assembly cannot see the Azerbaijan on an equal basis being a full member of the PACE, also we cannot tolerate this discriminatory approach towards Azerbaijan.
Well, another very important issue. I know that you have a great experience of working with European institutions and including PACE. So can you elaborate on the specific instances or actions by the Parliamentary Assembly of the Council of Europe that you believe have violated Azerbaijan's sovereignty?
Yes, as you know, the member of parliament from Germany, the person named Frank Schwabe, who was representing the group of socialists, in his presentation against Azerbaijan yesterday, he brought forward some excuses why they are going to suspend the credential of Azerbaijan delegation. And one of the main reasons, so-called reasons, of the Parliamentary Assembly was as if Azerbaijan violated some rules, the principles of the Council of Europe. And first and foremost, we have seen the intervention by the Parliamentary Assembly into the internal affairs of Azerbaijan, because the Karabakh region of Azerbaijan, the residents living there is solely the internal issue of Azerbaijan and cannot be debated and cannot be kind of brought into attention to the Parliamentary Assembly as an excuse. So even from this perspective, we see that Parliamentary Assembly of the Council of Europe cannot accept the reality and cannot respect the sovereignty and territorial integrity of Azerbaijan. So during the years of occupation of Azerbaijani territories, PACE did not deliver just single word saying something positive about Azerbaijan and acting against Armenia, because many hundreds of thousands of Azerbaijanis were deprived of their basic human rights. And PACE, being as one of the international European organizations who is responsible, by the way, for the human rights, for the democracy, so-called values, PACE turned a blind eye into the affairs of Azerbaijani people, refugees, IDPs, and that's why we have seen double standards from day one. when we liberated our territories, when we successfully completed anti-terror measures. So it means that parliamentary assembly have become, unfortunately, a tool in the hands of some bunch of countries, mainly France and Germany, and these countries are not ready to accept the new realities, are not ready to respect the international law, which demands that all members of the PACE must recognize territorial integrity of any member of this organization.
You yourself mentioned Germany and France. We know about the existing problems in the bilateral relations between Paris and Baku. So can you tell us a bit more about the influence that Paris had in this particular process, and overall what we observe in the last weeks? We can see that French Senate adopts anti-Azerbaijani resolution. Then Josep Borrell is making statement against Azerbaijan, claiming the Armenian sovereignty and Armenian territorial integrity, and ignores the territorial integrity of Azerbaijan, and now the situation in PACE. Your analysis, please.
The key reason of such behavior is, of course, the new realities that Azerbaijan established in the South Caucasus, and one of the main reasons is that they have been deprived of manipulating the situation in the South Caucasus, because during the years of occupation, during the war, France and Germany and their allies had very good opportunity to manipulate with the issues, with the internal affairs of Azerbaijan, putting fuel into the revanchist forces in Armenia, and to create a chaos in the South Caucasus. But when Azerbaijan stopped all of this, prevented this not regional forces, the European forces, from preventing their actions in the South Caucasus, now they have decided to, number one, to send military ammunition to Armenia. What France is doing is sending its most high technological weaponry to Armenia, which means that they are not interested in the region, in the peace in the region. And also Germany recently joined this farce, supporting France against Azerbaijan. So it means that whenever we have a good opportunity with Armenia to sign, to bring our positions closer to each other, when we have atmosphere of probably opportunity to signing peace treaty, immediately we are seeing the backlash, the reaction by France, by even European Parliament, European institutions. The French, the resolution of the French Senate a couple of days ago was not by accident. This is the PACE resolution, is the continuation of the same policy. And also the couple of days ago, the High Representative of the European Union responsible for security and foreign affairs, Mr. Josep Borrell, also delivered very inadequate statement against Azerbaijan, which is full of absurd ideas. So it seems that, yes, the European institutions are against the peace. They are not interested in the peace. So that's why the best way forward is to signing peace treaty with Armenia, not being away from the European Union, being away from the European institutions. So this is not a good platform. I mean, European direction is not a good platform for us even to think about signing peace treaty. They have discredited themselves step by step.
And my last question to you, how this decision of Azerbaijani delegation can affect the relations between Azerbaijan and the European Union member states?
Yes, my personal view is that our relations with the EU and with the European institutions will not affect Azerbaijan because Azerbaijan is not dependent on EU. Azerbaijan is not a member of the EU, so it means that Azerbaijan has nothing to do with the European economy, budget, financial system. Vice versa, Azerbaijan has signed strategic partnership agreements with 1/3 of EU countries. The 9 countries, we have signed the strategic partnership agreement. It means that even despite of deteriorating relations between Azerbaijan and EU, some personal separate countries in the EU are still interested in continuing their relations. So Azerbaijan is very much contributing to the energy security of some European countries. For example, Italy is our biggest trade partner. For example, the eastern part of the Europe, we have very good relations. Visegrad Group countries, especially Romania, Bulgaria. So taking into account that the role and the importance of Azerbaijan is becoming more important through the middle corridor, because we are on the heart of this corridor, it means that European Union must beg Azerbaijan, European institutions must be interested in having good relations with Azerbaijan. So here I see that we will conduct our foreign policy based on our national interest. We will not step back even one step, even just one step back in our relations with the European Union. We will defend and we will protect our national interest. And the European institutions and European Union, if they would like to continue their cooperation with Azerbaijan, they must revise and they must rethink their relations towards our country.
Mr. Ganjaliyev, thank you. Thank you so much for joining IDG Talks today.
Thank you. Appreciate.